Just in terms of actual impact on GDP, would you say at this point that we've seen anything that's actually material, and when would we expect to see that, in your view?
I think, well, there's a number of private sector estimates and also the Council of Economic Advisors at the White House itself that have basically said, I mean, they differ a little bit, but that every 2 weeks that the shutdown continues, we lose about 1/10 of a percentage point of GDP. We've looked at the numbers. You know, of course, the most direct impact is the 800,000 federal workers that are going without a paycheck. They've already missed out on one paycheck. And we've calculated that's about $2.2 billion per 2-week period or per paycheck that's not going out. So I think the longer this goes on, you will see impacts on consumer spending and ripple effects throughout the economy.
We're hearing a lot of, craft brewers can't get their product out, and we're worried about TSA, and some terminals have been closed down, and the national parks, I guess, everything's, all the waste of all kinds is building up. But when does the average American see this and say, all right, it's affecting me and something's got to be done? When do you think, Seth?
I mean, I think in every way, you have plenty of businesses that rely on federal workers. People in just very indirect ways, whether they're looking, trying to get a mortgage loan or trying to move into Section 8 housing. As we get into March, you start seeing the effects on the nutrition assistance program. 1 out of 8 Americans, or almost 40 million Americans, are served by food stamps, receiving about an average of $250 a week. So I think the longer this goes, you will see impacts throughout the economy affecting average Americans. But, of course, there's 800,000 average Americans who work for the government that are being directly impacted, and even more contractors who serve the federal government who are going without pay and may never get back pay.
Stan, in your view, and you're at AEI, kind of the polar opposite, I guess, of the Senate, do you want to go backwards, Stan? I mean, if the Center for American Progress wants to go forward, are you actually interested in going backwards, Stan? How does that work exactly?
No, I think I mostly agree with what Seth has said so far, actually. And, the administration itself, when it put in its fiscal year 19 budget request, really only asked for the amount of money that Democrats have been willing to offer all along for border security. Remember that a couple of days before the government shut down, Senate Republicans were perfectly comfortable just, going along too. This whole shutdown, in the end, is driven by a hissy fit the president threw when he got pushback from some of his more rabid supporters in the media.
Right. So how do you see it? Is there ever a way to do this where, without just saying, all right, open the government and we'll work on a negotiation for border security later? Or, I mean,
that seems like the obvious path forward. That's what Senator Lindsey Graham, for example, who's been very supportive of the president, who's repeatedly called for, a national emergency to find funds not directly appropriated by Congress for this. Even he now supports that solution and basically adopting the legislation that the Senate passed in December and that the House has passed again. Look, no one is benefiting from this situation.